Okay, people, we're good to go. We can't continue to wait again. We need to just kick off straight away. We need to just get into the business of today. We've given people enough time to join us, and it's quite painful that not so many people are here. But we believe that for those who have come, those who have joined us already, we shouldn't keep them waiting. We shouldn't continue to waste your time, because we understand that time is money. Okay, so that time is valuable to you, and that time is also valuable to us. So we don't want to keep you waiting, and we just want to get right into today's business. People usually say that good things happen to those who wait. Yes, tonight good things are going to happen to those who wait. But I personally have another opinion. I personally believe that good things are more likely to happen to those who make them happen. And basically, if you're here tonight, if you're here this evening, for the last time, if you can hear me, I'd like to see something. I'd like you to comment. I'd like you to use the comment section so that I can just know that we are together. If Larry is still here, Mr. Laju, Rezi, so let me just get to know that you're still here so that we can just get started straight up. No need to delay you again. I'm so pumped up. I'm so ready. I'm so excited about this evening, and I can't wait any longer. Actually, it's more like you guys are my bride, and I can't just wait to take you home. So we're just about to do this right now, and so let's get to it. Welcome to Growthpreneur Hangout. Welcome again. Okay, so I can still see the sign. So we're just gonna get right into it. Okay, we're just gonna get right into it. Wow, sorry about that. It's my mouse falling off. Okay, so there are so many interesting things that we have laid up for you tonight that we've already organized for tonight's participants. Thank you, Rezi. I can see the good vibes. It's coming from you, and that's a sign that it's coming from here too. Thank you. All right, so like I said earlier, we have a lot of interesting things that will be happening tonight, and then some other interesting things that will be happening after tonight. So this is basically just a pilot to a bigger project, and we'll talk about that later during the course of our discussion today. So I'll just get right into it, and we'll just start, and whoever joins us later will catch up. We'll catch up with the discussion. Yes, the arc has to leave now. Yes, thank you, Eunice. I can see you. Good vibes. Thank you. Okay, so we're just going to get right into it. I've said that like 100 times. Tonight, like I said before, my name is Obafemi Samuel. I'm a lead consultant, or the lead consultant for Blue Hub. It's a consulting firm that's based in Lagos, Nigeria here. And we've been doing some work with entrepreneurs, with business leaders for a couple of years now. And we've had amazing results and, very interesting testimonies. Moses Oluwafemi, thank you for joining us. It's good to have you here. Okay, so tonight I'm just going to be sharing a few thoughts with you on strategic impulse. I don't want to waste your time talking about what we do and then talking about our company and all of that. Again, I just want us to dive straight into the conversation, and then from there we'll take it to another level. Okay, so my time starts now. So we'll be talking about strategic impulse, which is basically my own topic, which is what I'll be discussing with you about. As humans, we do a lot of things by impulse. Some of them are great, some of them are good, some of them are bad, some of them are evil, and some are very, very terrible. Some of you can attest to that already. For instance, on so many occasions, impulse has made people steal. All right, it has made people have unprotected sex. It has made people make relationship commitments. People have entered into unprofitable business partnership and do all sort of crazy things, just because they are driven by impulse. And in fact, research showed us that about 40-20% of all our purchases are influenced by impulse. So you look at some of the recent happenings in the world. You look at a country like America, where people in Minneapolis are impulsively, some people are impulsively, protesting. People in Europe are protesting. People across Africa have joined that protest too. And the challenge with impulse, when we're driven by impulse, is that sometimes we can be so driven by impulse that we can just put away objective reasoning. And that's a very dangerous place to be. That's not where we want to be. So you look at the case, like the case of George Floyd, the guy in America was killed. The question you want to ask is, what's the protest really about? Are we protesting for police reform? Are we protesting that the guy who killed George should be killed as well? In the case of Uwa, the Nigerian student who was raped and killed in Benin City. So is it is our campaign that's been going on social media to end all rape cases? Or is it to jail all rapists? What really are we fighting for? So that's my point. We all have impulse and we do act on them. The issue here is, making impulsive decision without objective reasoning will put you in lots of trouble. In some cases, it will put you at a disadvantage. In some cases, it will put you, and at some point in time, it can also put you at a loss. So within the few minutes that we have to discuss what I want to share with you tonight, what I'll be sharing with you are basically practical ways you can infuse or integrate strategic thinking into your objective reasoning, into your impulsive energy. Pardon that. And it's basically about how you can turn these impulses that we have, all these, things that just cause us to behave or to act without thinking so much, into strategic tools that you can use to achieve more meaningful results. All right. So if you're good with me, if you're with me, and you're good to go, we can just get right into it. I'd like to see some comments. I'd like to just get some signs from you that you're listening to me. Okay, so I'll just wait a minute for that to see if you've been following me, and then if you're good to go, so that we can get deep into the discussion for tonight. I'm still waiting. I'm Rezi, Larry, Moses. If you can hear me, I'd like to just see some sort of sign, Eunice, from you, so that we can proceed. All right, great. I think I'm getting my green light already. Okay. We don't have too many people here tonight, so this is going to be, I just have to look for a way to balance this out, because I have a lot to share and I have a very little time. I have about just 10 minutes left to share whatever it is that I have to share with you tonight. Okay, but I just get to it. The first set of people I'd like to address at this Hangout are hustlers. Everybody say, I'm a hustler, I'm a hammer. That's not something I totally agree with. Even though I totally understand that the impulse that is driving you as an average hustler is the instinct for survival. You want to get more, you want to become more, which is basically understandable for the reason you keep getting into one business. Today you're selling jewelry, tomorrow you're selling real estate, next tomorrow you're selling cars. The day after that you're selling fabric. You keep moving from year to year. And what your impulsive energy is always telling you is that if you put more energy or put more effort, that you will get more results. But the interesting thing is that is a lie. You're not going to get more results if you're already hardworking. You're not going to get more result by putting in more effort. So I'll give you an example before I'll nail my point. Between 1980 and 1990, Sony, that's the company, Sony, they produced a total of 160 different Walkman, and that indicates that Sony launched new Walkman model. That's a new model every 25 days. That's a whole lot, man. So between 1980 and 1990, they launched 160 different Walkman. That's minus the other products by their competitors that are in the market. But Apple, on the other hand, just came up with one product That's the iPod in 2001, and it killed the entire 160. So if you are an average hustler, what you want to be doing is what Sony was doing. But what you really want to be is to begin to think like Apple. And I've shared that to say that if you're already hardworking, what you need is not necessarily more work. What you need is more strategy. I'm going to repeat that again. If you're already someone who is really, really hardworking, what you need is not necessarily more work. What you need is strategy. Okay, I'll share another insight with you. So let's say you currently also earn about $60,000 per year, which is going to be an equivalent of about 23.2 million naira, per year. I know not so many people are basically earning that. So it will take you nearly about 2.5 million years to actually become as rich as Jeff Bezos, who is currently the world's richest man, whose net worth, according to Forbes, is about $149 billion. So if you really want to be as rich as that, and your strategy or your approach, your impulse is just saying you need to put in more work, then if you're earning $60,000 already on an annual basis, you will need about 2.5 million naira, 2.5 million years, to catch up with Jeff Bezos. And you don't want to be that. So in a nutshell, it is evident that your impulsive response to becoming wealthier cannot just be more work. It has to be more strategy. So if you're an hustler here, I have 3 questions that I'd like you to ask yourself before embarking on anything. The first question you want to ask is, what am I building? What am I really doing all of these things for? The second thing you want to ask is, are my current activities a contribution or a distraction to what I am building? And the third question you want to be asking is, how can I become more strategic in my pursuit and in positioning myself or my business to realize, these goals, to build these things that I'm really trying to build. So this must become your objective lens, the objective lens through which you look at everything that you're doing. So 3 important questions. What am I building? That's what you want to ask yourself. Are my current activities a contribution or a distraction? And the third one is, how can I become more strategic? Those are very interesting questions you should ask yourself. By the way, I'm not saying that you can't or shouldn't take advantage of opportunities every now and then, but at a strategic level, you will also realize that some opportunities are distractions. Some people will call you to come and join their business, to come and do something with them. You realize that those things, yes, they will give you some sort of short-term benefit, but in the long run, they're going to distract you from the main thing you're building. The second set of people that I'd like to share some thoughts with this evening, and I guess that's where Mr. Laju belongs, and he's probably been waiting for this, are the entrepreneurs and business leaders. For most business owners and leaders, I know the impulsive energy that you have is always saying that you should just start, that business or launch that product, or that you should just get it started, that you will figure things out as you proceed. That impulsive energy, even though it is good in some cases, in most cases, that impulsive energy is going to set you up for a failure, because there are too many things that happen in the game that you're playing that spontaneity cannot handle. Spontaneity will not help you figure out, for instance, the right business model. It will not help you figure out, for instance, the right value chain. It will not help you figure out the best places to source for products. It will not help you figure out the best pricing or business strategy that you need to use. So you need to be a bit more strategic than just, being impulsive. In a nutshell, if you're building something serious or meaningful, secondary strategy has to become your primary tool. It has to become your primary approach. Spontaneity as a business person has to become your secondary approach. I'll give an example. As chemistry is not a reliable emotion for selecting a life partner, so is spontaneity not a reliable energy for running a meaningful business. So for entrepreneurs and business leaders here, I'll just quickly share with you 5 key areas you need to become strategic about your impulse. I'm really running out of time. I need to bring other speakers up soon. But I'll just quickly share this with you, and I'll see if we can talk about this some more later. All right. So the first area you need to become very strategic or about your impulse is basically about people. As a leader or business owner, people are your greatest assets. But let me give you this for free. People will also be the source of your greatest problem. Individuals like Hitler, people like JF Kennedy, people like Jesus, Martin Luther King, and other people have actually they became successful at whatever it is that they were trying to do because of people. But the challenges, or most of the challenges that they also experienced, came from people. So people are your greatest assets, but people will also be your greatest source of problem. And concerning people, where your strategic impulse must kick in as a business leader is to look first for the people who are most able instead of looking for those who are most senior. It is to understand that first come cannot be equal to being the first to be promoted. Because the person was the first person to join an organization cannot necessarily become the primary yardstick or primary reason we're promoting them. And this one we hit on, which should touch you deeply. And the third thing is that a gifted rebel is not an asset. A gifted rebel is not an asset. I've had to deal with some of them on my team, and I totally know for free, and I'm telling you now that a gifted rebel is not necessarily an asset. The second thing you want to pay attention to are processes. At a strategy level, your impulse cannot just be to get things done. Result cannot just be your only priority. How much, how fast, how better you can do things must take preeminence over just getting them done. So results are important. I'm not saying they're not important, but when strategy is infused into result can get better. Result can cost lesser. It can last longer and can create a greater level of relevance, that result at the impulse level cannot generate. So you want to become more strategic with processes. You want to become more strategic with results. And the third thing is that from my experience as a consultant, I can boldly say that growth, is the most pursued goal of all business owners and leaders. And the third part where you need to become strategic is about progress. I realized that the impulsive pursuit of growth is what has landed a lot of business leaders into trouble. So as you will agree with me that starting small for some of us is starting with $1 million naira. For some people like Donald Trump, starting small was starting with a loan of $1 million from his dad. So small or starting small is a relative term. Growing big is also a relative term. So what I would recommend for you at that level when I'm talking about progress now is that you adopt or embrace something I've called progressive impulse. And that is to say, first for you, growth must be definite. You must be able to define what smallness and bigness is for you. I can give you an example. In 2014, I did a research, a work on Starbucks, and their definition of growth for the next 5 to 6 years from 2014 was to own about 11,000 stores. But as of today, they own 11,000 stores, sorry, permit me, and then they wanted to grow that to about 25,000 stores. But as of today, Starbucks own over 31,000 stores, and that's basically in 6 years. So having that kind of definite definition of growth, of what progress is for you, will help you achieve, measurable results. So I'm just going to tell you, interestingly, 3 things about growth. Number 1 is the fact that growth is not a free gift of nature. Growth is not discriminatory. Growth is not racist. It doesn't care whether you're black or white. And the third part is the fact that growth does not respond to wishful thinking. You can't just wish your way into growth. And the fourth part, if I'm going to add anything to that, is that growth does not even respect your good intentions. You can have good intentions, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you will experience growth. So at the progressive level of impulse, there are 2 things that I would just recommend that you should master. The first one are basically going to be projects and projections. I don't have time to talk about them now. The second one will be preferences and patterns. But I don't have really much time to talk about that now. I'm way behind time. The fourth thing, I'm just going to share that, and then I think I'm just going to round up there. Is basically the fact that you have to be strategic about offerings as well. At a strategy level, you don't just want to go where the crowd is. You want to go where your own crowd is. I was sharing this with a client and a friend, recently. And I was saying that, see, Rolls-Royce and private jet companies are not necessarily selling you anything on social media. they are not necessarily trying to sell you something. If you're on social media, if your primary base is social media, what they're just trying to do is to condition to say that, when you eventually hammer, this is what big boys do. They sell on they sell via magazine, they sell on private jets, they sell on via commercial flights and all of that, because they know that's where their real crowds are. So that's what you want to do. You don't just want to be focusing on just selling anything. You want to focus on what you're selling and also how you're selling it. It's not just what you're selling. You have to put the combination together. So I'll give you some examples. Some products will sell better if you combine them with another product. That's an example. To that will be like, let's say bread and beans is a typical or classic example, combination of two products. Another example will be, that some products will sell better if you use what I call freemium, or what people usually refer to as freemium, to get people to experience the product first. Things like applications, most applications like Temple Run, Candy Crush, all of that basically use that same freemium model. And some products will sell more if you play around price. That's basically the secret of Chicken Republic. And some will sell more if you give customers more than they are paying for. MTN did that, buy one, get one free. The SIM back in the days, if you remember, buy one, get one free. And most data bundles are like that now. So if you have SpectraNet, a SpectraNet modem like the one that I use, what would usually happen is that at the end of the month or during the course of the week, sometimes they just send you different offers just to incentivize you to subscribe. How will we not be able to move forward now? I guess I'll have to stop here so that we can just get our second speaker to share some thoughts with you, because I've far exceeded my time. Okay. All right. So I've not even been able to scratch the surface of what I have in mind to share with you. All of that is just to prepare you for what I have in mind to share. All right. So basically, I've just shared those thoughts with you to tell you that, see, generic impulse cannot get you the level or the volume or the type of result that you need to get. You have to become more strategic about your impulse. The other thing that I was going to say was going to be about season. COVID is not the season. COVID is just an announcer of that change that we're experiencing now. COVID is not the change itself. Peter Diamandis said something very interesting. He said, a problem is a terrible thing to waste, but I can add something to that. A season is a terrible thing to lose. So I know that farmers and jambites will understand and appreciate that better. All right. So thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll get to see if there's going to be an opportunity to share more with you during the course of this event. Thank you so much. All right. So if you're still with us, if you're enjoying yourself, just let me see you comment and just share some of the way you're feeling or the thoughts that you have been able to capture from this session in the comment section. Let me just see some vibes, some good vibes, like Orezi said earlier, from you. Let me just get that coming in from you. Okay. So in like a minute, we will have my very wonderful friend from the UK, Kume, will join us, and then she'll be sharing some very interesting thoughts with us about strategic navigation. Just brace yourself. She's loaded. She's full of wisdom, and she's gonna be. Thank you, Larry. I see you. Thank you for that feedback. All right. So you just don't want to miss that session. All right. So I'll leave it to you, Kume. All right, so the screen is all yours, the stage is all yours.
Hello, hi everyone. My name is Kume Ese, and Femi got me into this, so I would have to do this. I think we're a bit behind schedule, so I'll just try and be brief about it. So what I'm supposed to be talking about today is business unusual, strategic initiatives for navigating through emerging era. Well, we can streamline that word, era, to say new market, but era. Currently, we're in the tech era, new information era, digital era, knowledge era. whatever we want to call it. And Nigeria as a country is considered as an emerging market because whilst some countries are already fully into this, era, the information era, but Nigeria, we are still emerging into it, even though we feel like we are there already, but no. Now, going to this, what I want to say is, as a country, sorry, just give me a moment. So, let me get to it. First, what is emerging markets? We'll say emerging market is, that market that has characteristics of a developed economy, but it doesn't really have all of the standards of a fully developed economy. Things like maybe sophisticated markets, development of these regulatory bodies and things like that. We are not really there yet. In Nigeria, bulk of our economy is based on the informal sector, which is where that it accounts for about 65% of our total informal GDP, because usually you would not take into consideration the informal sector in the GDP of the nation. That's too much grammar. So let's bring it down to what we can understand. So first, Nigeria has the highest mobile penetration, internet penetration, and this plays a huge role in us being seen or getting into that emerging era or emerging market. Now, it is estimated that we're about 200 million. Out of this 200 million in population, from 0 to about 54 is made up of 90%. As 90% of the population is made up from 0 to 54. And bulk of this is our working population, and of course, young ones who will get into the working population. And 52% of this, of the Nigerian population as a whole, is urbanized. It just means that they live in the urban areas. So yes, there's that fast growth that Nigeria is experiencing. And where does this lead us to? It just also means that this is facilitating, or rather solidifying, what is called a gig economy. Now, the gig economy is that labor market that is characterized by a prevalence of freelance workers, short-term contract workers. So we see it everywhere. Most what's this industry? The event industries, people who do interiors, caterers, they all have to just take maybe short-term workers, temporary workers to do the things that they need to do. Now, down to what is the main thing that for, say, small business owners, how do you tap into or be ready or take that initiative for the next level or the emerging era that we're going into? First, I would always say it is very, very key for every business to be digitized. We confuse being online and with being digitized. It's two different things. You can have a social media page. Doesn't mean that your business is digital. That's a different thing. Now, what do I mean by being digital or digitize your business? By that, I mean what you have to do is convert your analog process, your analog business into a digital form where it can be processed, it can be stored, it can be transmitted, and of course you can analyze it, to do whatever you think, whatever you want to do to make that, to take you to the next level. So it is very, very, very important. Let me give an example. Say, let me use a catering company, a small business. Maybe you sell soups or you sell soups, you have customers. It's one thing to write down all your customer orders, what you're getting on a piece of paper. It's another thing for you to then get a simple basic Excel sheet, simple spreadsheets, and just document all of this. So it's important you document your customers, the orders, sales, the address, even to their sex, because all of these things will help you to actually build a data from which you can analyze, and from that you can make informed business decision, and it goes a very long way. Another important thing is it makes you what I would call investor ready. It makes you very investor ready. Once you're ready for an investor, you have all the traction you need from just your Excel sheet. You can say, hey, we sell 200 pots in a day or in a week, and we sell, if you have different types of products, you have to record all of these different types of products, and you can use your Excel to just filter. You can see your traction, you can see if you are growing, you can see who is buying, when they are buying, how they are buying, and that would help you also in terms of your inventory. What should you buy based on what are you selling? If you make clothes, for example, say you make clothes, you make different styles and you sell them, you need to be able to probably document all of these things so you know which style is selling the most. If you make different styles, maybe per month or something, you need to be able to tell which one is selling the most. It goes a long way if you document all of these things, because in future, the purpose also again would be that if there's when they say remote working, you can access this anywhere. So I prefer you do it on maybe a Google Sheets, which is online. Anybody, if you have another member of staff, they can also just populate that real time and you can see all of this. So it is very important to actually digitize your business while you have your social media presence. It would help with a lot of things: sales, inventory, purchasing. Now, if the Excel is a bit too basic, you can decide to go for it's a CRM tool, that is customer relationship management tool. They have those for small businesses, and you can use the free version if you cannot afford or you are not ready to go for the paid version yet. So Google has one. It's called Bitrix 24. Zoho has one. You can use that as well. What all of this helps you do is, in a flash, it gives your business visibility. You can see your traction in a flash. You can collect data, because data is the new crude. Data is this next era, or rather this emerging era that we're talking about, this era of information, knowledge, everything is reliant on data. And so you will need a system whereby you can collect data from everything that you do about your business, every single thing. So that would help. It will go a long way to help. So you can just go on Google, type CRM tool for small businesses or free CRM tools for small businesses. You can use that. That will go a long way. And as you progress, you can decide that you want to step into what is called the ERP, that's Enterprise Resource Planning. That's another software that you can use, but it's not for micro businesses, it's for small businesses. But that one, it integrates every important aspect of your business, including HR, purchasing, sales, in every aspect of your business. So that is when, say, if you have from maybe 20 staff and above, and you deal with about 100 plus customers and above, and you've decided to have maybe the different departments. Another thing I would advise is, as small businesses, we tend not to have that structure. We just have social media presence, but we don't have structure, back-end structure in our business. Now, in order to have that structure, there's something called business model canvas. When you take a template online and fill out every part of that template, you'll be able to see what departments that your business can have. If just every one of them, then you can design the process, the business process of each department, how it interlinks with the next one, and how it leads to the sales, how marketing links to sales and all of that, and customers, how you get your customers, where you get them from, customer satisfaction. You just get, it's called business model canvas, get one, and then fill out all the slots. Once you do that, you can be able to tell the different departments that you want to create, because we think because we're small businesses, then there's no need for structure yet. We just want to, what we're doing is buying and selling. No, but where we're headed is going to be very competitive, and you need to be ahead of the game. So that's another thing. And then lastly, I always advise for collaboration. I do not believe in just trying to have a CEO title just to have it. As a small business, try to collaborate with us. Individuals, even other smaller businesses that can help you grow your business. So by collaboration, I would say, for example, preferably, I would advise you collaborate with people in IT, because those are the kind of people that you need to actually help you move forward, to tap into that era that we're heading into. So it's very, very key. And you may not be able to pay or employ these people as staff. Why not offer equity stake? That's my advice. I would always offer equity stake to somebody, maybe a techie. If you have a techie friend who is very knowledgeable, offer them some equity stake so that they can help you probably build some. If you sell things, they can help you build some mini e-commerce websites, and they can manage the back end for you and everything. So beyond your social media page, you can drive people from there down there. And all of this makes you ready. As we go into this era fully, there will be more investors, both private, even from government, from banks. We know that they try to give loans, and the federal government of Nigeria has required the banks to actually offer loans to a whole lot of businesses to help. It's part of what will help the economy. And you have to be ready. Bank will not give you money if your books are not in order. Banks will not be ready. And lastly, for people who are maybe career people, another thing you can do is, as a career person, whatever you're doing, your skill, build on it. As you build on it, you can now offer your skill as service to the gig economy that Nigeria is having. So there's a whole lot, but we can't cover everything in this very short time.
Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so
Femi,
thank you.
Over
Yes,
to you.
I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you. Thank you so much, Kome. And you said some really, really interesting things about structure, things about having a business model. And I've worked a whole lot with the business model canvas, and I can tell you for free, the participants, that it's a very powerful tool. You don't even just want to miss out on the benefits of using that canvas. It's really, really amazing. And she said some things about leverage. Those are very, very interesting and very great things that you cannot even overlook in this emerging era, in this new era that we're going into. I'm going to give you an example from the business model canvas. There are a couple of things that you may likely not see there as well that I wanted to share before that are very, very relevant to your business, which I believe if Kome has more time, she would have been able to share some of them with us. Part of what you will not find in the business model canvas are what I call key capabilities. You will not see that as part of the 9 blocks that you have on the business model canvas. And that's very important for your business, because you need to know which skills are going to be most important for your business to be building. You have key activities and you have key resources, but you don't have key capabilities. So you want to focus on that as well. I'm just adding that to what she said. And another thing that you want to look at as an entrepreneur are key success factors. Every industry have them. If you're playing in the lift industry, for instance, if you sell lifts, the key success factor for that industry is not necessarily the number of lifts that you're selling. It is the number of lifts you are able to acquire the maintenance license for. So you want to understand basically not just the craft, but the game that you're playing. So you don't just want to understand the craft of your business, you want to understand the game of your business. And I think, that's essentially part of what Kume is trying to tell us. She says something very important about collaboration as well. I've been telling those who are close to me, leverage is the new goal, is one of the new goals. Gary Vaynerchuk has been saying something. Sorry for that. Gary Vaynerchuk's been saying, about something about wisdom being the new gold. But we've known for long that wisdom is not just a new gold. Wisdom has been gold, for a really, really long time. So she was talking about collaboration, and that just, reminded me of something that I've been sharing at the interviews that I've had, radio interviews that I've had, and some of the live Instagram live interviews that I've had in recent times about the three important questions that every individual in this emerging era, this post-COVID era, must ask, especially as a business owner or so. If you want to play big in the emerging era, you have to ask these three questions. The first question you want to ask the people around you is, what are you building? The second question you want to ask them is, how can I help? How can I be of help to that thing that you're building? And the third question you want to ask is, how can I be a part of it? So three important questions. What are you building? How can I be a part of it? And what are you building? How can I help? And how can I be a part of it? Very important question. Thank you so much, Kume, for availing us your time, for borrowing us this your very busy weekend. And we really do sincerely appreciate you for your contribution and for your love for businesses and the advancement of our nation and our continent, Africa, as a whole. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. We love you. And we look forward to having more of you. And we hope that, soon we'll have you back again. Thank you so much for joining us, Kume.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, people. So that's it from Kume. You've had it out, and it's just going to be very, very encouraging for you. I'm just going to encourage you to do the things that she said. These are things that people would normally have to pay us to share, and we're sharing these things for free. And we really, really would like you to not take them for granted, that you put these things to use. The essence of knowledge is not just the acquisition of it, but the usage of it, the execution of it. So you don't just want to be knowledgeable for the sake of acquiring knowledge. It's like somebody who is just having money for the sake of having it. What you want to do is to better lives with it, is to do something tangible with it. I know for years people have been saying knowledge is power, but I totally disagree. That has worked in those days. Knowledge is no longer power. Knowledge is powerful, but knowledge is no longer power. Power is power. So what you want to do with the knowledge that you have now is to look for strategic ways to transform it into power. And that's basically what Kume has given you tonight. And I hope that you'll be able to do something with that.